in a special way.
All right, round of applause for that. All right. So when you come to pick me up, do you sit in your car and honk your horn or text and let me know that you're out in the car? Or do you come up and meet my dad?
His first date? I'll meet you, Dad.
So now we're at the restaurant and there's a door. There's a door. There we go. All right, he's got it. Thank you. Girls, I know that we can hold our own door, but the thing about a relationship is letting the guy lead. Build them up. Let them lead you. It can be a beautiful thing if we're not always Miss Independent. I can do it myself, okay? Now we're talking at the table, and this is really important, getting to know each other, talking about music. Great. I want to tell Ryan something. Ryan, thank you so much for not having your cell phone out and texting in front of me while we're talking. Can you give a round of applause for that? He's doing really good. How rude to have your cell phone out texting, being somewhere else when you are 100% here with me. That is awesome. All right, now we've been on a few dates, and we have some things that we have to talk about. Okay? All right, so I have to grab his arm on this one because we're going to go for a little walk. We have to talk about boundaries, and we're going to take a step. And each step that we take resembles how far we've gone, okay? I need all your ladies' help because you have to tell me when we need to stop, okay? So let's back up. All right, first date, he held my hand. Should we keep going? Yeah? Okay, that was a quick answer. Next date, he kisses me on the cheek. Whoa, he didn't come. Okay, so should we keep going or should we stop? I have some stop, some keep going. The majority was keep going, so I'm going to keep going because we listen to the majority, don't we, usually? So next date, he now has, what did you do? You are now putting your hand around my waist. Should we keep going or stop? Stop? Okay, he hasn't kissed me yet. Some people are saying keep going. Wherever you draw the line, whether it's you go to the next step, which was he would kiss me at the next step, wherever you draw the line, girls, it's our responsibility to turn to Ryan and say, Ryan, is it okay if we don't go any farther than this?
Yes.
Thank you. Round of applause to Ryan. What a gentleman. Thank you so much. Girls, do most guys respond the way our young gentleman Ryan did here? Did you hear that? Where are the guys? They can't hear us. When I talk to a co-ed group and I ask the girls that, girls, do guys respond that way? And they scream no. They kind of feel ashamed because they don't realize, I tell them how scared we are to ask them that question. And I have so many girls tell me they feel guilty because they're not doing things with their boyfriend. Girls, don't feel guilty. There are guys like Ryan out there who will respond, sure, no big deal, that's fine. And if there's a guy who makes you feel guilty because you have standards and morals, you walk away. Or you say the no thank you, I deserve better than this, okay? You got it? Awesome. I only have a few more minutes. So what do we want to talk about? Let's talk about clothes. So about this dress. So yeah, I picked this dress for you because I want to talk to you about this dress. When I was in college, we would go out. Well, first of all, let's back up. I want to let you in on a little secret. You and I have all the power. I don't know if you knew this, but what happens between a guy and a girl is because we let it happen. And yes, we have the power to turn guys' heads, but we also have the power to change their hearts. Okay? And this is how I look at it. They have the bigger temptation because we're prettier. They're attracted to us. But we have the bigger responsibility of knowing this. And a guy will be as much of a gentleman as you require him to be. Remember this. So when I was in college, we would go out in our short skirts and our low-cut shirts and prance around campus, you know, thinking this is how I'm going to get love. When we would walk out in those outfits, what we didn't realize is we were saying, hey, boys, the best thing about me is my body. And they're going to say, yeah, you're right. And that's what they're going to go after. They're not going to want to get to know you. They're not going to want to laugh with you, get to know your dreams. Well, I mean, some might for a little while. But they're not going to want to get to know your dad. They're going to want to get to know what you're telling them to get to know. And you might say, well, I'm proud of my body. I look good. Okay, we see that. But are you proud of the rest of who you are? our clothes send messages, big messages. So when I would go out, I wore this dress, okay? It was one of my favorite dresses to go out on a Friday night. I would have guys that were at this distance. I didn't know them. They would come over and they would just say, I just wanted to tell you that you look really beautiful tonight. And I'm like, oh, it wouldn't happen in the other outfits that I would wear, but in this dress, it would happen. And I'm like, how long is this dress? To my knees. And is my back wide open? Is everything falling out on top? No. It's so weird. You mean you can be completely covered and be beautiful at the same time? What a concept. And so I would watch other girls who went out. So I started paying attention. The girls who wore the low cut stuff and the short skirts, you know, they didn't get compliments like that. They would get the, girl, they'd get that. But they wouldn't get, you look beautiful. There's such a difference. So be aware of that. Be aware, what do I want? Do I want to be the pizza or do I want to be a diamond? I met a girl in North Carolina that said there's this guy at campus that always calls girls hot. And she's like, why do you always have to call girls hot? And he's like, well, I don't really remember the story, but basically he said something like, well, there's a difference between a hot girl and a beautiful girl. And I didn't know that. And I'm like, wow, guys know. They know by the way we dress. So don't think you have to make it shorter or whatever to be beautiful. It's in your eyes. It's in the way you hold yourself. It's in how much you pray. It just comes out. All right. Okay, I'm wrapping up here. So let me just close then with how I'm not that perfect, okay? And I didn't come here today to tell you that I'm perfect or tell you that you have to be perfect. That's ridiculous. God knows that we're not perfect, and He knows we're going to fall. That's why we have confession. And when I was messing up on a regular basis, week after week, with my boyfriend, I knew something needed to change. And this was before I started praying. And I decided that I wanted to ask him, hey, his name is Joe. Joe, would you mind if we started praying together for strength? Because I just can't keep living like this. Couldn't even look him in the eye when I asked that question. I thought he was going to say, Christina, you are a head case. I cannot be with you anymore. Because I was always throwing things like this at him out of left field. Like, what? And he agreed to pray the rosary with me. You can pray with your boyfriends. I don't know if you knew that, but you can pray together. Yes. And he soon had a new attitude about the body. He looked at it like this. He said, where do you find diamonds? On every street corner, available to everyone? No, they're hidden, they're buried. Where do we find pearls? In our backyard? No, at the bottom of the ocean. Anything that is sacred and valuable, it's hard work to find. You are a treasure, so someone has to work to deserve you. All right, girls, can I get an amen?
Amen.
All right, well, I have to wrap it up now. We have so much more we could talk about. There's so many things to cover, but I think you're going to walk away with a lot today. Some last final thoughts. Hold out. Don't settle for the guy in the backwards hat that's promising you love when he's not even old enough to give it to you yet. And pick good friends. This is a really corny line, but someone once told me that you can't hang around trash and not expect to stink. So your friends are really important. And start praying for your vocation or for your future husband right now. Start praying for it because God will reveal it to you. And if you've messed up, we all mess up. Go to confession, pick yourself up, and start over. At 14 years old, I never would have imagined that this would be the best decision of my life. So thank you so much for having me here today, girls. It's been fun. Real quick, I just want to test. Lust is in it for the? Giving. Love is in it for the? Giving. Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day. I guess you want to follow.